Alright, in this video we are going to talk about the van and the equipment that we've installed on the van, and particularly talking about the thing that people ask us about the most and are most intrigued about, and that's the kayak carrier on the back. So this is a 2007 Road Trek 190 Popular, 19.5 feet long without the aftermarket stuff on it. With the aftermarket bumpers and the kayaks, it's 24 feet long. Start right here with the aluminous front bumper with the incorporated winch. It's got a 16,000 pound winch on there, more than enough to handle this 10,000 pound van. Very strong. It's got a front receiver. We actually can put our little motorcycle on the front there and carry that on the front when we want to take that. It's got a cargo carrier on the roof that carries a tremendous amount of stuff, more than you could ever imagine is up there, including our screen tent, stove, privacy panels for the screen tent, kayaking gear, recovery ramps, just a whole variety of stuff, but it offers a tremendous amount of additional storage. Then we go to the aluminous rear bumper with the two swing arms. This one has a cargo box that also the bicycles are attached to, and that swings out, and I'll show you how that all works. There's the kayak carrier. And then this other swing arm that has the two zero gravity chairs attached to holds our full-size spare tire. And this arm swings out too, allowing access to the back doors and all the storage that's underneath the bed in the back, of which we leave the bed made permanently as a bed. It is electric sofa. You can push a button and it will turn into a sofa, but we just leave it full-time as a bed. And then our high lift here to help get us out of trouble if we ever have any issues. Also our cell boost antenna extension, so I can raise that up. You've seen that in a couple of our other videos. And going around, we've got bay storage for holding the hoses and miscellaneous stuff. And then of course the ladder that allows you to access the cargo carrier up top. This all works together extremely well. There are very close tolerances. When the bikes swing, they miss the kayaks by just a fraction of an inch, and it's taken a while for us to design all this and get it all put together. Okay, the first thing that I'm going to talk about in detail is the kayak carrier. This is the thing that makes people walk up to the van the most and inquire about. This is what really intrigues people. The idea of carrying kayaks is something that people are very interested in. We've made it happen with this custom kayak carrier. If you notice, the kayaks are offset to the left, and that is, the kayak carrier is not plugged into the center receiver. They are plugged into a receiver that Road Trek had put for a Continental Tire carrier, and it's off to the side, and that's where we plugged the kayak carrier into instead of the center receiver. You can see it right there, that receiver. The reason being why we plugged the kayak carrier into the Continental Tire carrier offset to the left is because of the swing arm of the bikes would not have enough room to swing out and clear the kayaks if you put the kayak carrier into the center. We needed access to these back doors to get to that cargo area underneath the bed, and also just to be able to open the back door. Sometimes you just want that extra ventilation. So because the kayak carrier is plugged into the Continental Tire receiver hitch off to the left, this Vertiyak commercially available kayak carrier is designed to carry the kayaks vertically. But you can see that our kayaks are tilted to the right, and that's so that you can see the two tail lights while you're driving, so that people can see when you're wanting to brake and your turn signal. So those kayaks have to tilt so that you can see this left turn signal and brake light. And the way that we accomplish that is by having the arms of the Vertiyak cut and re-welded. So this arm originally came out further and curved here, but we had it cut and then we shortened it up so that this arm is shorter on this side. And then on this side, the arm was lengthened. You can see how much longer this arm is, and you can see the welds where it's been cut and re-welded using the original arms, but just shortened on one side and extended on the other. Now this crossbar in the back is an addition that we did ourselves, because normally there's just a U-shaped arm to hold these kayaks, but we wanted the additional security of this crossbar. So I went to a welder in the local area, told him that I wanted to have a hinging bar here. So he custom designed and welded. He doubled up the arm here and extended it a little bit on that side and this side. He did a really good job. And then he designed this end where you can put this padlock through, and then the same on the other side. So you can unlock either one of these, and this bar will swing open, allowing you access to the kayaks. And this just provides more security for the kayaks, not only just in keeping them in place, but making it a little bit harder for somebody to walk off with their kayaks. It just makes it more difficult than if this whole rear area was just completely open. And then we have this strap here that just kind of secures the kayaks, keeps them tight against the carrier. And also, in case there was any failure of this bar, which I could not possibly see that happening, these straps would make sure that the kayaks didn't fall out. You know, if I accidentally forgot to put this padlock here and this arm was just swinging, well, then this strap would be just a assurance that those kayaks aren't going to come off of that carrier. Believe it or not, I doubt that they would fall off, just because of the way they stick into the bottom of the carrier. All right, so let's take a look at the components that make up this kayak carrier. Okay, the first component that we'll take a look at is the kayak carrier itself. It is from Vertiyak. I'll show you a link to that. They're a little pricey, but they are built well. They are adjustable, so you can raise and lower the height that you want the kayak holder to be. Here, this bottom portion, you can see that you can change this, and we have raised and lowered it till we finally got it to the height that we like to carry the kayaks. We could raise it higher if we needed to. The second component is this very interesting swing arm that goes into the receiver, and then the kayak carrier itself plugs into the swing arm. And we'll show you exactly why we needed this swing arm in order to access the back doors. This I bought off of Amazon. I'll also provide a link for that to show you where you can get it. But this is a crucial part of the equation of being able to get access to the back doors And you can see we've got these pins, and this is a removable pin, and you'll see why we have a removable pin here in just a few seconds. I'll demonstrate. Okay, I wanted to go a little bit more detail about this swing arm, as I call it. When I shot the video yesterday, I don't think that I went into enough detail as to exactly how this works and why I have this, because the original Vertiyak kayak carrier is just this part, and it goes into a receiver, you know, about this far. But this is an additional piece that I added, and what this is a cargo rack swing arm, a receiver hitch swing arm, and it's actually supposed to be flipped the other way. It's been turned upside down. It's designed for somebody who has a cargo basket that they're going to have on the back of their vehicle. And then when you're not using the cargo basket, you can fold it up 90 degrees so it goes up 90 degrees and the cargo basket is straight up. But what I did is I didn't need this swing portion to go this way. I needed it to be able to swing down so the kayaks can swing down when I want to get access to the back doors. So I bought this, turned it upside down, so this is in the straight position, as though you were using the cargo basket on the car, you know, up, but it would be the other way. Then when we pull this pin right here, and that's why I have a quick disconnect pin, when you pull that pin, it allows this to rotate down on this hinge right here. This pin here creates a hinge. This swing arm will swing down, and fortunately this pin here will contact that right there, and that will hold the kayaks at a 45-degree angle, so the kayaks don't swing all the way down and lay on the ground. So it's really handy, and I'm glad that it worked out that way. You see here we don't have a pin going through here because it's being held in place by bolts that are on the underside and then on the back side. With these secure bolts that are on the bottom and on the other side, it holds this in very securely, and there's no way that this is going to come out. So it works really well. It's strong as far as holding the weight the way that we've designed it. You've got to have those stabilizing straps right there, because that's what holds the kayaks and takes the forces of driving down the road and jiggling back and forth. This has a lot of play in it. Between this plugging into here, there's a lot of play there, and this plugging into here, there's a lot of play there, and that's what you want. You want play in there so that the straps take all the force, so that this might wiggle back and forth a little bit, but it doesn't put any stress on the metal as far as twisting or bending. And that's all by design. There's no reason why you would want to put a hitch stabilizer on this. No reason whatsoever. Not when you have those stabilizing straps as I designed. So there you have it, a little bit more detail about the swing arm of this kayak rack, which allows us to access the back doors. Another component that is critical to this kayak carrier are these straps, these load straps. And there's one on this side, and it goes to the aluminum swing arm. And then there's one on this side that goes to the aluminum, or it actually connects to the bike rack over here. And what these straps do, these are what hold the weight of the kayak and relieve the stress off of the connection where the kayak carrier plugs into the swing arm here, or the receiver. If you did not have these load straps to stabilize this kayak, this would be rocking back and forth and would ultimately result in metal fatigue and failure of this part in this weakest area right here. So there's weight on this receiver just from the weight of the kayaks, but it's not being twisted back and forth because these straps hold these kayaks steady so that there's no twisting force. There's enough play in here that even when the kayaks rock back and forth a little bit, it's not stressing this metal because there's enough play that allows this to move in there. Very critical. If you do not have these straps, your kayak carrier or your receiver is going to fail very quickly. And the last component is the swing arm that we already talked about, and why we have that there. Just provides security and holds the kayaks in place better. And then the bottom portion here, we just added padding to the metal of the original kayak carrier. And what we did is we just wrapped cheap shop towels and old towels round and round and round. And we wrapped it with duct tape, and it's really holding up well, doing very well. So those are the components of the kayak carrier. So now let's demonstrate how we use this. Okay, so now we're going to access the back doors with the kayaks still on the kayak carrier. We can do that. And so the procedure is, first of all, we're going to loosen the support straps that we have. So we'll come over here, and I just tie these so they don't flap in the wind and fray. And I've not had one of these break. I do carry extra straps in case one of these were to break just from being out in the elements, but it hasn't happened so far. So you can see when I loosened that strap, you saw how the kayaks just laid back, and we're now using the swing arm to hold the full weight of the kayaks. So when you tighten it up, here I'll pull them back up. So when you see how it pulls the kayaks forward and snugs it up, so these straps are holding the weight of the kayak, so it takes the stress off of that receiver. So here I'll loosen it again. You can see just how far it leans back. I just unhook that, I go around to the other side. Undo that. And then when I loosen this one, it's going to go fully back onto the receiver. Just like that. The Vertiyak has a D-ring that's part of the original manufacturer, so we did not have these welded on. Those are already welded. But if you look how wobbly this is without those support straps. So you could see that these kayaks would quickly cause metal fatigue, and that would fail. So now to access the back doors, we're going to tilt these kayaks down. And generally I need Kim's help for this to make it easier. I can do it on my own, it's just a little bit trickier. So what I do is I hold the kayaks up, Kim goes and pulls the pin, then she backs up, and then you just let the kayaks rotate down. And then they rest at like a 45-degree angle. And I'll show why those kayaks are resting at 45 degrees. Because this is making contact with this. And even though the kayaks are touching the ground on this particular moment, this is still what's holding those kayaks at the 45 degree. If we raised this adjustment up, which we've had it higher, then those kayaks would not even be touching the ground. They would just be suspended at that 45-degree angle. So now you can see that it opens this up. The swing arm with the bikes can now be rotated. So I'll give the camera back to Kim. And you see this strap right here? It's just a little kayak strap, and the reason that strap, it's a little loose right now, but the reason for this strap is it puts a little tension on this bike to keep this from rocking, this Yakima rack from rocking when we're off-road in rough terrain. This will really rock back and forth quite a bit, and that can also cause fatigue of the bike carrier. And we've already broken one bike carrier, so I put this strap on there. It keeps it from wobbling back and forth and preserves the carrier. So I just loosen the strap like that, and now this whole swing arm is ready to swing open. So release. Now I can swing this arm out. Now look how close this is. Look how close this is. And that swings open just like that. And I can take this retaining pin that Illuminous has and put it in there, and it keeps it from swinging closed on you. And then I can access, here's where I keep the Kim's tires pinched in between here. And then you can access this back door. Put all the twigs and leaves and stuff from when our kayaks are hitting all the trees when we're going through the forest and stuff. But now we can access underneath the bed and not have to open this other door. But this other side will swing also open. I just have to raise these chairs up, release the pin, and then this will swing completely open and missing the kayak carrier just like the bikes did. But you can get to your underneath access. We have a tremendous amount of stuff underneath this bed, huge amount of stuff. And then we also have a mosquito screen net here that zips down, and we can have the back of the van open and complete ventilation with either one door open or both doors open. It's really nice. So the way that you button everything up, just close that, swing this closed. Oh, I gotta get my pin right here. Put that back in place. Push that forward. I lift it up a little bit. So then what I'll do is I'll push the kayaks forward. Kim puts the pin in, and then I can release the pressure off the kayaks and they'll just stay in place. And I put the stabilizing straps on. So Kim puts the pin in. I relieve the pressure. And then we put the stabilizing straps back on. So here, just like this. Get it turned properly so that you can pull on that strap like that. See that? Go to the other side. Here's the stabilizing strap. Goes through there, ready to tighten up. I kind of take it over here so I can get a better pull on it. And then pull each strap the proper amount. I kind of go, one side, this side, that side, this side, then back to that side. And then really pull it tight. Make sure it's tight. Tie the loose ends so they don't flap in the wind. one on this side and secure it. Once you secure those straps, this thing is rock solid. Trust me, this thing will hold these kayaks. We have been on extremely rough terrain, off-road. This whole van just rocking back and forth violently, and these kayaks hold fast. And this carrier is very strong with the stabilizing straps. Those straps are what take all the shock of all that bouncing around. So this works very well. This is very secure. It's very easy to get the kayaks on and off of this carrier. And that's the thing, is you want to make it very quick and simple to get on the water. Because if it's a big production, you got to get up on top of the roof and you got to untie stuff. You're just not going to want to do it. If you know you can take these kayaks off in a matter of minutes, then you're going to be more inclined to stop at that body of water that you're passing by and go kayaking. So the idea is to make it super simple. So we'll go through the process of taking the kayaks off. So you stop. The first thing that you do is loosen this additional strap that I have. You don't have to have this. Being a retired pilot, I just like to have a second way of securing these kayaks. It's just part of my backups that I need to have. Now we'll do a lock on one side. So we'll do this side. That goes up there. The other lock creates a hinge, and the kayak's ready to come off. So just lift it up. Kayak comes off. Boom, ready to go. Just like that. And when it's time to put the kayaks back on, lift it up. In the hole. Close the arm. Get this back in there. Lock it. Do your extra strap if that's what you want, which I do. So just bring this around. Thread it through there. Pull it. Secure the strap. Just like that. How fast was that? I took the kayaks on and off in about 3 minutes, right? Now try and figure out doing that, getting up on that roof. First of all, how are you going to get up on that roof? A ladder? So, what if you're tired after a day of kayaking? What if it's raining and you're trying to get up on the roof? No, this is the way that works the best. You can get your kayaks instantaneously. You can have access to your bikes or the back door of the van at any time. So there you have it. That is the kayak carrier that everybody wants to know about. So we showed you the different pieces that compose of the kayak carrier, such as the swing arm, the kayak carrier itself, the stabilizing straps, the additional security arm that we had made, as well as cutting and re-welding the arms if you need this kayak carrier to lean. If you don't need it to lean, if it's going to go into your center receiver hitch, then the kayak carrier as it comes from Vertiyak is already set to hold those kayaks straight up. You don't need to do any more modification to it. So there you have it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It's been great showing it to you.